Nothing is going back to normal. I need us as Americans to fully grasp that nothing is going to go back to normal or be the same after this.
Because right now, if you're not an elite, you're getting fucked over. Even if you don't think that you are, even if you're doing well financially.
How do we come back from this year? This presidency has only been here for a year, and whether you agree or not.
Hello family, welcome to BabsWTV, where we talk about real life, real struggle, and what's happening around the globe. Man, it took 2026 for Americans to finally see it, and now they cannot unsee it. What's happening? What's happening right now? Things are not going well. Things are getting much worse that they're being told. Americans start freaking out right now. And this cost of living crisis is literally bankrupting people. This need to stop. We need to do something. But let's check out this clip about what Americans are talking about, and make sure you leave a comment and subscribe. And if you are one of those people, leave me your thought so we can share with the world.
You ever just sit back and just look around and think, what happened to this country? Because I swear, every day it feels like the people in charge are living in a completely different universe than the rest of us. We're out here waking up before the sun, working overtime, grinding, sacrificing, and somehow it's still not enough. Groceries keep going up, rent keeps going up, taxes keep going up, electric bills, gas bills, insurance, everything up. But the second we ask why, we get told, actually things are great. You're imagining it. No. We're not imagining it, we're living it. The working class is stretched so thin it's practically see-through. Parents are trying to raise kids while juggling 3 jobs. People are choosing between prescriptions and groceries, and politicians, both sides, are busy arguing, tweeting, fundraising, and fighting for power while the country isn't broken because of the people working hard every day. It's broken because the people who run it forgot who they work for. The truth is, America isn't being held together by the ones on TV. It's being held together by you, the factory workers, the builders, the nurses, the truckers, the welders, the waitresses, the moms, the dads, the people who never get a day off from real life. We're not asking for miracles. We're asking for honesty. We're asking for leadership. We're asking for anyone to remember that regular people matter, because the country is tired and the people are tired, but we still show up every damn day. And maybe that's the problem. We hold this place together while the others at the top pretend everything's fine.
Nothing is going back to normal. I need us as Americans to fully grasp that nothing is going to go back to normal or be the same after this. Some things are irreversible. A lot of Americans have this mindset that once Trump is over, things are going to reverse, and that isn't true. If Trump gets us into a global recession, if not a global depression, you're not going to fix that in a matter of 4 years. It's going to take possibly a decade. Do people forget that the Great Depression lasted for 12 years, from the stock market crash of 1929 until the start of World War II? That's 12 years. Are people aware that when the oil embargo of the 70s happened, it wasn't until the 80s that things got back on track? So if we're gonna have an economic downturn, a severe economic downturn, especially with the petrodollar declining, it is going to take years, if not over a decade, for things to get fixed or corrected, if ever.
The collapse has already begun. We're just not supposed to notice. Look, they've told us that unemployment is down to 4%, but those numbers are a lie. If you haven't looked for work in the last few weeks, you don't count. If you're working 2 or 3 jobs and still can't pay rent, you don't count. Right now, over 66 million people are functionally unemployed. Let that sink in for a minute. 66 million. That is a quarter of the working population in America. We should be very concerned about this, but no one's really talking about it. We're getting distractions coming out of the White House. And look, I know there's a lot going on and a lot of things demand our attention. But if we're going to turn things around, if we're truly going to address the systemic issues affecting every citizen, we've got to pay attention. People are collapsing under the weight of inflation and the job market. I've broken it all down on my Substack, link in the bio. Let me know what you think, though. Are you functionally unemployed? Are you worried because they just fired a bunch of people starting Friday in the federal government? It's far worse than we're being told. This isn't fear. This is a wake up. We can do things about what's happening if we are aware. So, read the full breakdown in my Substack. Follow me there in case TikTok goes away. And let's talk about this.
As much as I don't feel like it's preferable to live through this, I do think that what we're about to go through in America is a full systemic collapse, and it's going to hurt like hell, and not everybody's going to make it. And I'm not saying this because I am some sort of masochist or even a sadist. I don't want for anything bad to happen to other people. But America is the bad thing that happens to other people. Always. I'm so sick of this country and our military-industrial complex. We cannot pass audits for our military, but we give them endless sums of money every year to do God knows what. And just hurt people for what? So that socialism doesn't thrive anywhere? So that Americans never realize that everyone's living better than us? Really? That's what we're fucking doing, dude. Community is the new currency. Don't worry about the US dollar. It might already be too late, honestly. I might have waited too fucking long to list my house.
We're gonna find out what's going on, because there's been a lot of just crazy stuff going on, and everybody pray. If y'all believers, pray. If y'all are not believers, don't pray. But whatever y'all gotta do, but pray anyways. Just do it. Just try it. Even if y'all don't believe, just try it, because we gotta work on this country, because like it's going down, and it's going down fast, and it's the worst time I could say in our lives. I've never worked hard in my life to try to stay afloat. I feel like y'all are feeling the same thing I'm feeling. We are working as hard as we can work right now just to stay afloat, not to do nothing nice, just to stay afloat. We working as hard as we can, and it's the hardest it's ever been in my life. I'm telling y'all, we never worked this hard ever. Every day we got to work hard. Every day just to pay the basic stuff. So we have to try to build a community. We have to take back the Senate, and we have to take back the House. We have to do it. So thank y'all for being supporters. Let's keep on growing. Let's get these numbers up by the midterm, so I can be out there. We can be outside, and we can organize, and we can get people to go out and vote. And yeah, everything is getting worse out here. It's all worse. Like he said he was going to fix everything. For the people that believed him, that's in here right now, that still believe him, just look at his track record. Don't go off of what I'm saying. He was the one who said he was the no new wars. He was the peace president. He ended 8 wars. He said all of that stuff.
No matter what side you're on, whether you're on the left, whether you're on the right, whether you support Trump, whether you don't, how do we come back from this year? This presidency has only been here for a year. And whether you agree or not, there has been so much division. I've never seen it in my entire life, bro. When I was a kid, before Obama got in office, it was a whole bunch of recession. You know what I'm saying? We were in wars, a whole bunch of stuff. It was still America first. It was still everybody together. Americans riding for Americans. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like we're damn near in a civil war with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like it used to be you can have respect for the other side. Like even though if I was an adult in 2008, I believe was when McCain was going for it. If I was an adult, I would have voted for Obama. But I respected what John McCain had going on. You feel me? Like Mitt Romney, I respected what the opposition had going on. I just didn't agree. You know what I'm saying? I agree with more Democratic sides. But now we're just not together, bro. It's been some things that can't be unsaid.
300 million deaths were sacrificed for our empire. It is okay to accept that America is an empire in decline. That's a hard step for a lot of Americans to make. It was hard for me. It's okay, because all that is saying is that under this system, you and I, working class, common people, are going to experience worse and worse conditions. But that doesn't have to be the case. Understanding that we're in empire decline gives us the clearest possible path. It tells us exactly who you are. We are working class. Our interests are aligned with each other. The billionaires, the Epstein class, they're part of the ruling class. This system of capitalism and empire is built for their interests, not ours. So we know who we are. And what we must do also becomes obvious. We must first align ourselves and our actions with the class interests we have. That's number one. Then we must work to dismantle this ruling class system that we have that is not working for us. It's actually working against every single common person in the world. And then we must build our own system that represents the working class first, foremost, and only. This also empowers us to take control of our destiny. We will not let ourselves be resigned by the political system, by a wealthy person telling us we're nothing. We are only an individual. We have nothing in common with each other. We must be splintered and fractured. We must not find community with each other. And this tells us to seek out community, to build relations, to build power for our class interests. I think this message strikes particularly in the hearts of Gen Z, who experience this K-shaped economy, who know that we have no future owning a home or having kids. We've never been in love with the propaganda of America because America has never worked for us. Taking control of our own destiny, of our own power, sounds a hell of a lot better than bootlicking for these billionaires a minute longer. So thank you. You can hear more of my messages through the link in my bio.
Living through a system collapse in real time is actually wild. And it's wild because you can tell that the systems are collapsing. Like, we can clearly tell here that something is not correct. And in order for there to be, a correction made with the current system, it literally has to collapse. It fully has to collapse. The empire, the systems, all of it has to collapse and crumble and be done with and be no more, so something new can be rebuilt. But like, living through it, it just feels like it's being prolonged. And I understand, like, the people in power are going to try and hold on to that power for as long as they possibly can. But it almost seems like they're just delaying the inevitable, which would be the collapse of the systems that are currently in place, because they're very corrupt and they quite literally can no longer exist in the way that they've been existing. If we can, if we're trying to continue to be living, if we're trying to continue to be on this planet and have things progress, you know what I mean? Things absolutely have to change no matter what. But just living through this time, it's like, okay, I can tell the collapse is going on, but like, can we speed it up? I'm not trying to be like, but like, we can all tell that this can no longer be this way. So it has to collapse and crumble and be done with. And I just really feel like it's being prolonged, again, because people in power are going to try and hold on to that power for however long they can. But it's insane. And every day you wake up and it's some new thing in the news. And all I can think about is, okay, well, can we just get to the part where like all of this is over? Like, because we know that the collapse is imminent. So can we just speed this up, wrap things up? Like, we all see this. The system cannot continue in the same way it's been operating. Like, it literally cannot.
The America that we had is done. It's over. The idea of America is still alive. It never really came to its full potential. But the America we knew is over. Trump has done so much damage to America that it'll be felt for generations to come, even if we were to get him out of office right now. The attacks in Iran have just solidified that we will no longer be the world superpower. I want to be very clear, though. I love America. I'm a veteran. I absolutely love America. I don't like our administration. I don't like Trump. I'm not even a fan of the government, but I like the people, because that's what America it is. It's the people of America. This war is not going to end well. Regardless of how it ends, it's not going to end well. The best we can hope for is that we get Trump out. And even then, we still have all our work ahead of us. The Constitution's a great start, but it did not prevent somebody like Trump coming in and ruining 200 plus years of a country. I mean, it took him a little over a year to totally screw over America for the next 30 years. So if we go to rebuild, if we can rebuild, what does that look like? How do we rebuild? And I've thrown some ideas out there in the past, but I want to add a few more. We cannot ever allow one person to have this much power ever again. Ever. They weren't supposed to have this much power in the first place. But due to the lack of spine in Republicans in the Congress and the Senate, they've allowed Trump to have this power. So how do we fix that? I've addressed that in a few other videos, but mainly it's going to come down to competency. You have to be competent. You have to be qualified, and we can work out the details on that to hold any office. You have to be proficient in the skills that you're trying to be in charge of. But the big part, the big issue has to be when we go to rebuild, has to be priorities. And what I mean by that is priorities of people over everything else. The priorities of the American people. Like, what do they need? That has to be the scale at which we use to judge any rule, law, program, any of it. It has to be, does it benefit the American people? We're going to have to be people over profits all the time. Like, that has to be the standard for which we judge. I really genuinely hope we get the chance to rebuild America, rebuild it into maybe what it could have been. I don't know if we're going to get that chance. The things that are concerning me right now with Iran is I guarantee they're not being truthful about how many people, American citizens, have been injured or killed. If they're covering that up, they're covering up how bad it really is. The other part that concerns me is China. I'm not worried about them attacking us by any means, but they're going to feed Iran. And I get that, don't get me wrong. And then as America stumbles and falters, China's going to be there to pick up the pieces. China will be the new world superpower. And I think that's going to happen regardless how this plays out. And if you don't like that, you can thank Donald Trump, because he caused all of this. And his supporters allowed it to happen. The rest of us have been screaming from the rooftops how horrible Trump is. The only thing that this Trump administration actually has going for it is how incompetent they fucking are. Like, that is the only bright side to them. Because if they were competent, they could have accomplished way more of their evil plan than what they've done. But on the Iran issue, their incompetence is going to screw us all over. They didn't think it through. They didn't plan it out. They didn't have a battle plan. They just went in with no idea how to actually end it. Regardless how this ends, I just hope there's enough of America left to rebuild something.
I was just sitting there thinking, well, the reason why we won't ever see a change, the changes that we 100% need to see in America, right? Because right now, if you're not an elite, you're getting fucked over. Even if you don't think that you are, even if you're doing well financially, even if everything is all hunky-dory in your household, you are still getting screwed over, even if you're not aware of it, right? Unless you are an elite, you are getting screwed. And the problem is that people are so selfish or have self-interest. Either way, people are very selfish and self-centered, and all they care about is how their lives are going. So any problems that they have that don't affect them specifically, they look at as exclusive instead of inclusive. Like, your problem is my problem, right? But no, most people don't look at it like that, right? And for us to see a major change in America, what we would need is for everyone to come together in unison. Now, there's a bunch of reasons why that won't happen, right? Political views, class difference, racism. There's all kinds of reasons why people won't come together. But if people did, then we could see the changes that we 100% need in America, right? Like, the housing market's fucked. Our wages are way too low. We can't the average person that works 40 hours can't even survive, right? Like, there's so much corruption going on. I mean, the government shutdowns going on right now. People are not getting food stamps. People are suffering in America. Meanwhile, our government is sending money to other countries. They're doing all kinds of corrupt shit, right? And the rich people are always using loopholes to get over and just continue this cycle of corruption, right? But I was sitting here drinking this nasty ass fucking Starbucks dark roast coffee. I don't know why I fucking paid for this shit, because my coffee at home is way better. But anyways, I was just sitting here thinking, you know, the main culprit of Americans that won't get on the bandwagon and help a revolution or push forward a revolution is the middle class, right? The middle to high class, middle class people, because you motherfuckers are doing well enough in life that you view the problems that other people are having as exclusive because they don't affect you specifically, because you're okay. Your household's fine. You're paying your bills, right? And you're so fucking self-interested that you're not seeing that even though you're doing well, you're still getting screwed over. Still, you got hundreds of $1,000s in the bank. You're still getting screwed over if you're not an elite. I promise you. You go run the numbers, go look and see where all the money's going, see how your tax money's getting spent. You're getting screwed. So if we could get the middle to upper class citizens of America, which are the bulk of the, you know, we're the workhorses, we're the people that are paying all the taxes, we're paying the most into this shit. If we could get us all on the same page and say we're done, we're going to revolt, we're going to stop working, we're going to stop doing this bullshit until we see a change, a greater change for the entire society, like for Americans, nothing will happen until those people get on board. And that's what I truly think, right? Because just like me, I'm an electrician, right? And I make good money. I make good money, right? But I even know, I'm even conscious to know and aware to know that even though my bank account is doing okay, I still know that I'm getting screwed over. And I still know that there are millions and millions of people that are getting screwed over. And I 100% would be willing to hop on that bandwagon and revolt so that we could see the changes that we need to see in America. I am so sick and tired of it. I literally am. I feel like a hamster on a wheel. No matter how well I'm doing, I feel like I will never catch up. And now they're trying to push the retirement age back. They constantly talk about that. They constantly talk about Social Security going away. Things are just getting worse and worse and worse. And the elites, what they're doing is they're doing a money grab, right? They see the shit is on the decline. They see it. They see that American society is going down, right? We're headed in a bad way, right? We're headed into a fall, the fall of a civilization. If you look at the statistics, you look at everything that's going on, it's looking like there's going to be a fall of American society, right? We're going to crash and burn unless something significantly changes, right? So the elite, they're just doing a money grab. They don't give a fuck. They're just trying to see how much money they could soak up out of us before this whole thing just runs dry, right? I mean, just look, they've been doing it for years already, right? Sending all of our jobs across seas. Now you call somebody on the phone, it's not even an American. They've already started sending our jobs across seas. Now, you know, there's issues with the border, people coming in over the border that are taking jobs, right? More and more jobs are being stolen from American society, right? American citizens. Our wages are going down, right? Unions are trying to get dismantled. And what you dumb motherfuckers know, which really pisses me off about non-union electricians and non-union trades in general, was like, I understand y'all got a family to feed, but go union, bro. Go union. You are only helping drive your own wages down along with everybody else in this motherfucker when you don't go union. So if you have the chance to go join a union, Join the union, because that's the only fucking platform that's going to help you have any type of strategic leverage, right? But anyways, yeah, middle-class Americans, we need you motherfuckers to get on the bandwagon so that we can see some fucking change in this bitch.
We are entering stage 4 of a 4-part economic collapse, and I'm going to explain it to you really quickly and easily so everybody gets this. Step 1 is the cushion. That's when everybody's got money and the economy is booming. Coming out of COVID, everyone had extra cash to spend. You had a stimulus check, you had savings built up because all the stores were closed and you couldn't leave your house and you had all this extra money sitting. So coming out of COVID, we were sitting really pretty and the economy started booming. Step 2 is the bridge. That's when the savings runs out and everybody starts turning to credit to start covering all of their bills and expenses. And they've built up this lifestyle that they want to maintain, but now it's more expensive. So we start pulling out the credit cards more often and we start going into more debt. We start buying fancier cars like we wanted to, but we're having to pay more for them and now our bills are higher and our payments are higher and everything just costs more, but we still got credit and the economy looks great. Why would we worry about this? Step 3 is the wall. That's when savings are gone. That's when your credit card debt starts to get to the maximum, when you don't have any more credit limit to spend. This is when everybody starts realizing that they have to start pawning stuff off, which we started seeing. This is when everybody starts shopping more economically. This is why we started seeing a higher increase in high-income families, in Walmart, and Dollar Tree even. This is when you start seeing people start pinching, because it's starting to hurt. Step 4 that we're entering right now is the reset. This is when inflation has gotten to a breaking point. This is when people just can't survive anymore. This is now because lower income and certain neighborhoods are starting to see higher rates of foreclosures. We're starting to see more businesses closing. We're starting to see everybody tightening down because they're trying to figure out how they're going to survive the recession. And this algorithm has played out multiple times in U.S. history. The 70s stagflation is the most similar to what we got going on right now. But just remember that most of the numbers that we're working off of are before the real pain from the tariffs have hit and before you take into account the cost of gas having risen. This is exactly why 40% of U.S. households wouldn't be able to survive a flat tire right now. They don't have the savings and their credit's completely maxed out. And the summer's only going to get worse. Gas prices always rise in summer, and when you add the Iran war on top of it, they're going to just explode. Not to mention that we're going to start seeing the effects of having been in this struggle start coming through in July. So right now is planting season with farmers, and if the farmers didn't have access to the seeds and the oil and the products and the fertilizers that they needed because of transportation issues and because of shipping issues, because of the oil prices, we're going to start seeing that coming through in July when we have a decrease in available produce and an increase in. And honestly, that goes for most goods. Most goods have to be transported in some fashion, so you're going to start seeing the fallout of those shipping cycles coming through around July. So everything in July is going to immediately, go up 20-ish% minimum. And the only real way to combat this or try to get through it is to go into survival mode. Don't do anything that you don't need to do to survive. Groceries, utilities, rent, that should be pretty much it. Anything that costs anything for fun, sorry, can't happen. And do your best to move all your variable interest rate debt into fixed interest rate debt, such as a personal loan. Close the card after you empty it, and then put it all on a fixed rate loan so that it can't go up on you, because the APRs on credit cards are going to start climbing. Mine personally went from 21 to 26 this past year, and they didn't even say anything. They do it quietly. They do it sneaky. They don't tell you about it since you already signed the dotted line when you open the card saying that they can change their variable rates. But you need to go back and double check it because they're going to start creeping up. Average credit card APRs a couple of years ago, I think it was 2022, was 22%. Now the average is closer to 30. A lot of them I'm seeing are 27 and 30%. And I know it sucks for a lot of people and you don't really have the extra, but put anything you can into your savings account. Try to hang on to it. Try to go into a high yield if you can. But you're going to need the money. Everyone's going to need it before the summer's out.
Just imagine, this is the great that, the Make America Great. This is the great that they're talking about.
How can the United States come back from this, from all this damage that Trump has done over the past year? Win the midterms, win the White House. Both of those things, they're in the bag, clearly. I think it's pretty simple, and it is consequence. There have to be consequences for all of these people, meaning that the person who's going to be running on the Democratic ticket in 2028 has to run on a platform of retribution, which is very different from Trump's campaign of retribution because that was just personal grievances for him. In this case, these people every single day are breaking clear laws. All the Democrats have to do when they get into power is prosecute people for their crimes because they are committing crimes. There is proof. It's slam dunk, right? The only way to make that happen is to pack the Supreme Court because it is a corrupt Supreme Court right now. And there's no way that there's going to be any consequence for these people if they are still in power. The idea that any Democrat thinks that they can win in 2028 without running on a platform of consequences for the people who are clearly breaking the laws and trying to dismantle democracy right now is laughable. If you look at how angry so much of the country is right now at what Trump is doing, that is such an easy choice. Whoever wins that nomination, that is a fucking cakewalk because of how angry people are. Look how angry people are in less than a year into this. In 3 more years, man, people are going to be so fucking furious. I think it's pretty simple. Consequence, rule of law. These people are breaking laws, just prosecute them for it. That's it. And the country will bounce back quickly. Let me know what you think. From up here, way up here in Canada, an hour north of New York State, it looks pretty clear. Just fucking punish people for the laws that they are breaking, and the country will bounce back. What do you think?
No matter what side you're on, whether you're on the left, whether you're on the right, whether you support Trump, whether you don't, how do we come back from this year? This presidency has only been here for a year, and whether you agree or not, there has been so much division. I've never seen it in my entire life, bro. When I was a kid, before Obama got in office, it was a whole bunch of recession. You know what I'm saying? We were in wars, a whole bunch of stuff. It was still America first. It was still everybody together. Americans riding for Americans. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like we're damn near in a civil war with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like it used to be you can have respect for the other side. Like even though if I was an adult in 2008, I believe was when McCain was going for it. If I was an adult, I would have voted for Obama. But I respected what John McCain had going on. You feel me? Like Mitt Romney, I respected what the opposition had going on. I just didn't agree. You know what I'm saying? I agree with more Democratic sides. But now we're just not together, bro. It's been some things that can't be unsaid.
The collapse of America. And who would have thunk it? The black folks was right. Racism caused the collapse of America. Somebody said years ago, and I found the quote and I lost it. So you know who said it, put it in the comment section. A lot of white Americans would rather for America to burn to the ground than to part with their racism, than to let black people have a seat at the table, to let marginalized communities be equal with them. They have to have something or someone to punch down on. And they will choose racism every time. They will watch it burn. And we're seeing in real time our neighbors do nothing. Nobody fights for America but black Americans. Yet they always emphasize the black part of black Americans. But it's funny because we see it in real time. You can no longer deny it. The only people who fight for America, other than soldiers and veterans, are black Americans. You can no longer deny it. Because we fight for what's ours. We say we built this country and we're acting like it. We're not going to let somebody just come into our house and destroy it. And we literally say, let's see what y'all got. Tag, you're it. Silence. Parades. Even the people in Portland got heart. They in the streets. If they just mocking ICE, but at least they're doing something, which is more than a lot of other people in America who claim to love America, who are so upset about Juneteenth because why America's just being so divided right now. Trump just spent the SNAP money if you don't know what's going on. He is liquidating. What do you think Elon was doing? What do you think Elon was doing with Doge? He was ciphering all the money. Like, are you... Okay. Next year will be the 250th anniversary of America, the birth of this nation. And guess what empires, the greatest of them all, guess which year they fall around?
Here's 10 reasons why I believe the United States is a failed state. Number 1, in 2017, the United Nations did a special investigation into conditions of poverty in the United States and found that 5.3 million Americans live in, quote, conditions of third world extreme poverty. Number 2, despite only having 5% of the world's population, the United States currently has 25% of the world's incarcerated citizens. And such citizens are forced into slave labor, where they are paid pennies on the hour. Number 3, despite having a huge mental health crisis, mental health in the United States is either criminalized, largely ignored, or, for the lucky few, treated like a subscription model-based service that you can sign up for in order to receive wellness guides, in order to go back to your ritualistic, performative life of creating profit for shareholders. Number 4, because the U.S. operates within a consumption-based economy, we manufacture scarcity through things like planned obsolescence and wanton destruction of otherwise usable goods, which leads to the further degradation and acceleration of climate change. Number 5, the United States has the largest wealth inequality of any nation, not just in the world, but in the history of the world, which means that we have people with multi-mega yachts, many different mansions, and people starving in the street. Number 6, what any other developed nation would call corruption, we call lobbying. Many of these corporate lobbyists write the actual legislation that the politicians pass. And through the revolving door, said politicians can then go get a wealthy job at the corporation once they're finished with their job. That's called corruption. Number 7, education in the United States treats schools like indoctrination centers that reinforce cultural hegemony. And post-secondary education is a way to force people into debt traps for the majority of their life. Number 8, the United States is a neo-empire that uses the largest military in the history of the world to control and enslave the majority of the rest of the world, either economically or through direct force. And we have committed the vast swath of the world's war crimes the last 100 or so years. Number 9, and though we briefly touched on this before on the list, climate change. The United States is completely inept at addressing climate change issues and actively worsens and is the largest contributor to worsening climate conditions. And last but not least, the United States guarantees no basic necessities for any of its citizens. No housing guarantees, no water guarantees, no food guarantees. You basically have access to these things, which means if you can't afford them, you die. And that rounds out the list. Follow for the next one and add anything you think I missed in the comments. See you next time.
250 fucking years. We are about to celebrate 250 years as a country, as the United States of America. But right now, in 38 states across this country, American citizens are being forced to sign a loyalty pledge to a foreign nation just to do business. The nation, everybody's favorite, this one. Founded in 1948, 38 states have passed what are called anti-BDS laws. If you want a state contract, a state job, or in some cases even disaster relief, you must sign a written certification promising you will not boycott them. This is a conspiracy theory. In February of 2020, the Israel Prime Minister publicly stated in recent years, we have promoted laws in most US states which determine the strong action is to be taken against whoever tries to boycott Israel. Financial reality looks like at the numbers. The United States has given Israel $317 billion in inflation-adjusted aid since 1951. Because October 2023 and September of 2025 alone, the U.S. spent $21.7 billion on military aid to Israel. Now look at our own fucking backyard. For our fiscal year 2026 budget, the VA's budget to modernize and repair all healthcare facilities nationwide is $4.8 billion. We sent 4 times that amount in an emergency military aid overseas in just 2 fucking years. But don't worry though, while that money flows out here, we nearly have 33,000 veterans experiencing homelessness on any given night, and the suicide numbers are fucking astronomical. But peer reviews and veteran advocacy reports show that even the reports that they're showing aren't even right. Veterans are dying closer to 24 fucking people per day, and then self-injury overdoses are 20 a day. You spent years wearing that uniform and defending the Constitution. Now you live in a country where 38 states demand economic loyalty to a nation founded in 1948. While the VA struggles to fix its own hospitals, we're losing 40 brothers and sisters every fucking day. These are the facts. Look up at the anti-BDS laws in your state. Understand where the money is going. The mainstream media is never going to cover this. So it's on us to know the reality after the uniform, and it's time for us to do our own research.